Hey folks, this is Vagrant. Welcome back to Disco Elysium. Now, I may sound a little bit different. Just got my new microphone. I've got a Rode Procaster. It's an XLR mic, so I'm using the Wave XLR from Elgato. Very first video I've recorded with this new setup. Even though for you folks, of course, I've been using it on the other channel for quite a while. I have no idea at this point in time whether this is an improvement sound quality wise. I just want to do a full video so I can do a real comparison between this video and the last video. I think that's going to be the best way to know. I've done some audio testing and it works at the very least, which is important. However, we're going to do a proper save just in case something goes wrong. I want to make sure I have a backup in case I do need to load back to an earlier point. So this one here is going to be my my save in case of disaster, in case my audio stops working or something. I've never used an XLR mic in my entire life, so there was some figuring things out, but it seems to be okay. So, with that said, let's chat with Morel and the cryptozoologist. Of course, he came back, finally, after we discovered him on the Western Front. Let's have a little talk.
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Too much trouble for you.
I'm basically a cryptozoologist now.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mexican origin. The pin is an antique, quite special.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes.
Love a little silvery knob.
You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
Just realised, I love a little silvery knob. It's like one of the first things I've ever said in my new setup. You never told me you've seen the phasmid.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
Phasmid?
But, darling, I didn't even get the size of it right.
Oh, that was pretty good, actually. I'm a little conscious. I'm just going to do a slight adjustment. Bear with me. Hopefully, given I've got a shock mount and a few other things set up, I've just wanted to angle the mic down a little bit, but I don't know if that's better. Oh, I don't know. I don't know where you're meant to put these. It's a dynamic microphone, which means you need to be closer to it and sort of right in front of it, and it should hopefully block out sound from wider sources. Like, I'm hoping, like, often, I'm at, like, the back of the house, so there's a lot of sound behind the mic quite often. I'm hoping this is going to kill that completely.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about it. He's proven his interest in the field.
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden...
Oh, that is very... Oh, right, okay. So I think it's when we finish this conversation, we get the breakthrough. Now, I just heard, because my headset isn't totally noise cancelling, I just heard a door close behind me, right? Well, in front of me, behind the mic. So, the test of the mic's capabilities, and one of the main reasons I bought it, will be whether you folks also heard the door.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5 and a half in Betancourt in the suburbs. My grandmother had a summer home there.
Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa 20 kilometers from here.
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it.
It's funny how paranoid I am right now. Like, I'm constantly looking at the mic, think, oh, should I move it there? Oh, should I move it there? Is it close enough? Is it too far away? Do I need to be like, hello, hello, hello? Can I do like an ASMR kind of thing now? Who knows? Ooh, sexy noises. Like, I feel like you can talk this close, and actually that might be preferable for this kind of mic. So I might need to bring it closer to me. I'm not sure. I can't do this for the entire video. My back will break. So I'm going to move back now. But this was the test. I'm moving. Anyways.
She had no fear. just surprise.
It's hard to be scared of a reed.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left, went into the reeds. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just standing there knee-deep in mud, looking around me.
Then what?
I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk, and told her they were looking at me. Of course, she just laughed at me, but I knew what I'd seen. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys. That sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a strange, amusing anecdote. So did I, honestly. But then I met Morel.
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed.
It did, yes. Like reeds in a gust of wind.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
He looks at her with admiration, forgetting a wide smile on his face. Forgetting? Forging, maybe? Getting? Getting sounds a little simple for this game. You were on a date?
Our first, yes.
The old woman looks at her husband tenderly.
The glance is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express, even to him. Interesting.
His limbs were white.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
How big was it?
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
Maybe you imagined it, Lena?
How could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main thing here, what makes it a confirmed sighting. She had no previous knowledge of the insect.
Okay, yeah, but you say that, but there are many myths that arose at approximately the same time across the globe. There's lots of inventions that happened at the same time, like convergent evolution. Is that what it's called? Where things evolve in a similar way, despite being millions of miles, not millions of miles apart, despite being half a planet apart. The point is, just because you haven't seen something before doesn't mean, you know, confirm everything. It's like someone who thinks of a unicorn. Some kid out there who's never seen a unicorn will one day draw. Right, it happened in the office. Michael was talking about drawing a unicorn. He drew a horse with a horn on its head, and he'd never seen a unicorn before, and he was amazed with his creativity. It doesn't matter that unicorns already existed if he'd never seen one, but the point is he still thought of a unicorn because it's an obvious thing to think about. Now, I'm not saying a living reed is an obvious thing to think about, but only 3 sightings in history?
So she couldn't have made it up, or imagined it.
See, I disagree, logic.
That's true, yes. I'm almost certain neither my mother nor my grandmother knew of it. It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, Lena.
She lowers her voice, and I yawn, imitating a boy. Talking about myself in the middle, apparently.
You trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here. They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
Kim, what do you think of this?
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
And she could get up and walk right into the reeds on her own. Into the mud. Anywhere.
Yeah, that could definitely be part of it. I wonder if part of it as well is that he has taken what is this beautiful childhood memory for her and turned it into his obsession and his job, in a way, I guess. Suggestion 11. Come on.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Well, then why are you making me do a test for it, you numpty? Hey, Lena, I'd like to hear about some of the cryptids you studied. Could you tell me about a couple of them?
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company too.
Don't say that when your husband's right, though.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza.
Okay, Kim. Just one little cryptid.
He nods and assumes a waiting posture.
I want a cryptid extravaganza.
Cryptids. Let's hear about all the interesting cryptids.
It does concern me a little bit that I want to hear about all the interesting cryptids, and apparently the only other part of my body that agrees is electrochemistry.
Ooh, tough choice there.
What's the most dangerous cryptid? No, is the bird. I'm curious about the bird.
No, it's the cryptid.
The cryptid?
Oh, yes.
The small silvery skull shines between your fingers, its beak sharp. What is this bird?
The eight-eyed teratorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said. Until...
Mutation? All of evolution is a mutation.
I want to try something sort. So I've got a Wave XLR, which is connecting my mic. My mic with an XLR isn't USB, so it doesn't connect to my PC. So you have to use a sound doohickey in the middle. So it's connected to a Wave XLR, the Elgato thing. It looks really good on my desk, actually, I've got to say. It's got this lovely little big dial and lovely little lights. But I can tap the back of it to mute myself. So I'm going to do that and see if it works for the next conversation. So I'm going to mute myself now.
Until it was sighted by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist Uwe Plattenkalk in 21.
This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty. But, of course, you are not all-knowing.
Okay, couldn't unmute for a second there. I made lots of weird noises during that. It'll be very annoying if I wasn't muted. So the hope is that I'm testing if muting and unmuting something I can do mid-video, because like if it's a really long cutscene in a game, I'd like to be able to just tap it and not have to edit that out later on. So that'd be good. I need to hear about this sighting.
It happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm.
What's Uamrau?
The world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert, an ancient riverbed completely dried up.
I wonder if someone's made like a real full world map for Disco Elysium. I wonder if the developers, I imagine they did. I imagine they designed a world map.
Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where man hasn't stepped foot in over 1,000 years, since the fall of Pericarnassus. He was lost, without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great black bird, it seemed gargantuan. Every now and then, the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uwe got there, the teratorn had taken off already, and the carcass was picked clean. This happened many times.
I decided to look, just while she was speaking, for Disco Elysium stuff on Etsy to see if anyone had done a map or something like that. And I tell you what, it's all cryptid stuff. It's like half of it is cryptid stuff. I wonder why. Like, they've really run with the cryptid. It's a bit mad.
Eat the bird. Uwe. It's the only way to survive.
He was following it?
Yes, or rather, hunting. A bird that big has a lot of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Plattenkalk followed the teratorn until they reached a great canyon wall where the bird finally landed to rest. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers on the perch. So he approached, slowly squeezing the rock in his fist. Then the tetatorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. And the man couldn't move. He was paralyzed, frozen into place with the rock in his hand. Whatever he did, he could not get closer to the bird.
Why?
The bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back, but every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uva spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away.
An 8-eyed mind-controlling bird? Fuck yes. How did he survive to tell the story?
The 8-eyed tetatorn was indifferent to him, as long as he didn't get closer than 2 steps. It even let him feed on some carcasses up there, and the 2 unfertilized eggs it left behind.
We're going for the fuck yes.
Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever since, but Wamrao is vast, mysterious,
Wow.
and holds many secrets.
Wow.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil, and the largest bird ever to live, it also does mind control.
It's the whole package.
He's sincere. He likes the audacity of it.
That was the last anyone saw of it.
Sadly, yes, but there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial eagle, an ancient heraldic symbol that is hard to pass off as coincidence. The imperial eagle, too, had 8 eyes.
Not really. It's just stylization. The way they drew eyes. It's not a zoological drawing.
Very, very hard.
All right, Morel, calm down.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know?
Because Raggy's not going to let me ask about more than one, but I want to ask about one more. What's the most dangerous cryptid?
The gnome of Jeroma.
That sounds terrifying.
Oh, yes. None of its victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their bodies because the gnome's venom dissolved organic tissue.
What did it look like?
It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. Quite scary to look at.
It sounds like the initial chupacabra, funnily enough.
A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome's venom. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Mm-hmm.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
Yeah, but I've decided my character is deep into cryptozoology. A perfectly good explanation. Shut up, logic.
Sure, a perfectly good explanation. It dissolved in its own venom. Go on then. Ask about more gnomes or whatever.
I will do. What's the biggest cryptid?
Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you see it that way. Did we have anything more to do here?
No. Sad.
Honorable one, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honor points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous.
There are honor points? Oh no, it's like the good place.
Of course there were honor points. Did you think no one was paying attention to all of your honorable deeds, Honorable one?
I try my best. It's the most any of us can do.
Oh, the modesty on this one. Another 10 honor points for you, sir.
I wasn't looking for that, but thank you.
You are on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers, an honor cop.
Isn't honor a sort of archaic concept?
Living in the name of virtue and doing noble deeds while expecting nothing in return is not archaic. How can you even think that? Selflessness forms the basis for the warrior code, an ageless code, as fit for nomadic Ilmaran tribes traversing the vast red plateau in Provincia Gordi as it is for your neighborhood postman.
Sounds rather arrogant. A secretive self-regard.
No. You see, you're putting the needs of others above yours. You get nothing in return, not even praise. You always get the short, noble end of the stick. Don't think about it too much. Just say it. Are you ready to get knee-deep in honor?
I mean, it's another option, so I should just take it, right? My honor is my life.
Yes, your deeds are spoken for you, honorable one. But to fully drape oneself in an eternal cloak of honor, a ritual must be completed. A rite of honor. Even among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy. But you, O honorable one, have excelled in honor. Honor comes from deep within you. And to truly know oneself, to know one's honor, one must reach deep within oneself and touch one's honor.
Okay.
You need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
Most dishonorable are those who have known honor, carried honor in their hearts, and then disowned honor. They are the honor fallen. You brought much shame on your family today. Your name will forever be tarnished by this most shameful of deeds. Be forever banished, shameful one.
Part of me is like, well, I want to click every option, I want to explore everything. The other part of it is I don't... Honor as a concept, I feel, is very corrupted these days, because you know who thinks they're honourable more than anyone else is white right-wing men, and they think, oh, we're defending the country, we need big guns, and the woke madness is taking over, and we must use our honour to defend good solid family rights and the nuclear family and all this bullshit. Nobody out there is being honourable and fighting and dying on their sword. You know, I guess technically some people are, but even people in the army aren't really. I mean, I'm sure some people are, but they're not all doing it for honourable reasons. And really, can you say the army is honourable? The closest you get to an honourable army is, well, anyone doing it in complete self-defense. Ukraine at the moment. I'm not saying the Ukraine government hasn't done some dodgy stuff. And you say that though, but there are lots of terrible people in the Ukrainian army. They're defending their homeland, which is great. But they're not honourable people. So it's just, I don't like it as a concept. I never really have. This should be our Fairweather thing.
Fairweather T500.
Cool.
Remember that weakness you were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
+2 hand-eye coordination against enemies in FT500 armor. Okay, so nothing right now, but it does seem like it'll be something useful down the line. What are we going to do? There's the Wumpty Dum. But like I said, I like the longer ones. All red checks fail though, that's terrifying. Is that Alexa talking to me? None of them are that long, are they? I've already spent it anyway, I must use it. Maybe we can just avoid red checks. Let's do it. The precarious world. How do we win? A little nervous about that one. Okay, so we've got our new jackets, of course, and now we have Inland Empire and Volition. That's pretty sweet. Do I want that more than drama? What's my drama at the moment? Drama is 6, so that'll go down to 4. Inland Empire is 2. So, yeah, okay. And Volition is 4. Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense. Plus, it's pretty baller. Inland Empire, Octuple Vision, Volition, Cryptid's Protection. Yeah, someone mentioned that he's a theatre kid. Know thy neighborhood, taking back the streets. No fucks given. Wait, I'm a detective. Right, I mean, we're going to spend the entire day talking to cryptozoologists, seemingly. Morel!
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastically as my wife has, but I am grateful for your assistance, officer.
I'm okay if we don't shower together, Morel.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
Oh, maybe we make him wait. We'll tease him a little, you know? Just a little foreplay. Did you know Gary was hiding the armor?
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
He's still glad his friend stood up for him.
I checked all the traps.
Good. Okay.
One of them was
And
empty.
completely empty?
Yes, nothing in the trap, no locusts, and no phasmid.
No locusts? No phasmid either?
That's not ideal, but
The empty trap was the one at your campsite. Maybe this factors into it somehow.
I definitely left that one stocked.
Right from the campsite? Just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
Is the theory going to be that it was watching her set up the traps so it knows how to undo them?
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning. You should correct them.
Of course, more clever.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure.
Another trip to the reeds.
I'm not persuaded.
Why don't you try convincing Morel his hypothesis is invalid?
Thank you for the vote of no confidence, Gary. An officer. I appreciate your concern, but please leave this to the experts. Unless you have an alternative hypothesis you'd like to venture.
You're jabbing at the soft underbelly of his psyche. He realizes he's gotten defensive.
Actually, no. Excuse me for getting emotional. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol, is yours.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like closure? What really happened? Some kind of foul play might be afoot. Theft?
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our investigation here.
Okay, can I think I've run that number. Can I boost my interfacing? Now, we've already got +2 from the gloves. Means we have to go through everything we own, of course. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Interfacing is yellow, right? Yeah. At least that lets me, I can kind of like just quickly zoom by if I don't see the right color. I think that's all I've got. Well, worth a shot, eh?
Hello. Lena and I...
Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person. Hands small enough to fit inside the trap, too. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
Fucking Kuno! I think a little hooligan called Kuno may have stolen the locusts.
A little hooligan? But what would a child want with bags?
Have you met a child before?
Oh, my dear Morel, you've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
I'll talk to little gremlin and see if anything comes up.
Delinquents. My favorite.
It doesn't sound like it's really his favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please let us know whatever you turn up. I have a feeling we're getting so close.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips for me.
After this is your last chance to talk to Gary.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerainty, but...
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Leave anything out in the open and they'll steal it, even if it's bugs. Morel, it's been fun, really, but I need a bath and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done, I gotta run.
No need to apologise, Geary. You've been more than helpful. We'll have to take a rain check on that game of suzerainty today, though. We're gonna follow this through.
Alright, we'll talk to Gary. I can't imagine there's much to say to him at this point, but it's in case you've missed out on the gloves and everything the first time, of course.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
Uh-huh.
I mean, officer.
These guys, I did talk to them, I remember. Blah, blah, blah. There's so much I need to do. Right, let me think. I need to call in on the car. I need to talk to Kuno. I need to go talk to J. But that feels like my main mission, so I kind of want to avoid it for a little bit. Because I'm worried that it'll progress the game. I know that sounds daft, but like I want to do side stuff for a little bit. There's something else I need... Oh no, we already talked to Ephra. Okay, cool. Cool. Let's go check in with our motor carriage. And call Lucy? Can't remember her name. Oh.
The afternoon sun shimmers off the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage.
Why am I even thinking about this?
Do something important? Something murder-related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery.
Does look great.
This is a Caprice Kanema, the Caprice Motor Corps follow-up to their highly successful workhorse, Caprice 40, and the answer to the Lum's racing breed, Ferv series. With its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine, driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual gearbox, the Kanema is able to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 13.5 seconds and go on to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour.
This thing's a beast. 180 kilometers an hour? What? It's a monster. That's mad speed. Won't it roll over in the first sharp corner?
The high center of balance is offset by a large battery bank mounted at the bottom of the cabin, feeding all the auxiliary systems and making the Kanema effectively a mobile power plant. Even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. The cabin is tilted frontward to give it a more aggressive, hunched look. Someone has waxed it recently.
That machine really puts the loco back in locomotion. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look?
What's it packing there? Point to the engine.
130.
It can't be 130 horsepower, come on.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
Especially in a 7-liter V12, Jesus.
Man, that's got to be a major advancement over the KR-18GU engine on the old Caprice 40.
Right, I'm going to trust you. Encyclopedia first. It must be an advancement of the KR-18GU engine on the older 40 models, right? Woo! Mama's serving some serious macaroni.
Yeah, you know it?
Just the basics. Cast iron blocks, swirl chamber injection, dual change driving overhead camshafts, 2 valves per cylinder, hydraulic valve lash adjustment.
Yes, that's right. I'm very impressed that you know these things.
Fine machine, Kitsuragi.
Yes, an extraordinary machine.
See, he's had to put up with the cryptid stuff, so I thought he deserves, he clearly cares about his car.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up. Slam it down. Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot. It's a bit girly right now. Fit it with some proper off-road components.
Ever thought about switching to helium headlights?
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first.
If we ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together. Ah.
You want to help? Thank you for the offer. That might be fun. Let's do the case first, though, alright?
Oh.
He liked the idea.
Oh. They actually are getting on. I got an achievement the other day. I can't remember. It's been a few hours ago in game now, but for Kim to trust me completely. So he does like me.
Inside, you see a set
I
of
know.
steering levers.
I know. You
a
tell me this
radio
every time.
microphone, a pull-
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Did you find out more about the owner of the armored boots?
Yes. It took some convincing, but I got the mercenary's name and a few biographical details. Are you ready?
I am ready.
The lieutenant leans in to listen.
I was
Notebook
born ready,
in
baby. Shoot.
That suit of armor was issued to an Oranese citizen named Ellis Kortenaer. That's Ellis Kortenaer. Exact date of birth, unknown. He was signed into the Lelystad County Neonatal Care Unit on 28th of February 09.
Neonatal care unit.
He was found as a newborn in a leaf compactor near an abandoned farm. He spent 4 months in the neonatal unit, survived apparently, and was assigned to a foster family at 2.
Jesus.
This is what the ICP knows about him. He was raised by foster parents, entered the East Brand Military Academy in Vredefort at 17, then served in the Oranese forces till he was honorably discharged in 41, just a year before the Seminese conflict. Then the armor followed him to Seminine, or at least I assume it did. And that's it. There are no records of his employment in Crenel, or any of its other incarnations, or him even entering
He
Revachol.
was found in a leaf compactor.
It's a garden tool used to press leaves into these cubes. It's a detail the hospital had, the only detail in these files. So I thought it would be good for you to know.
It is. Thank you, Alice.
Any information on his foster parents?
None, officer. Sorry.
So all we have to connect him to Crenel is the armor.
Even that is a small miracle. These organizations usually double-check their inventory. Thank you, Alice. Great work.
Okay.
No problem, Lieutenant.
Aww.
A compliment from Lieutenant Kitsuragi. Not bad.
Oh, we've got his name and service record.
A name. This is very good. Ellis Kortenaer.
I'm glad the inquiry was helpful to your investigation, officer. Did you have any other questions?
70 XP for that one. 70 for it. I mean, it did take 4 days or something, but still 70 XP. Absolutely chock-a-block. I need to report a dead body on the Martinez boardwalk.
One moment.
You can hear her shuffling through some papers.
Can you please describe the body? Age, sex, cause of death?
An unidentified middle-aged man, height 170 to 175 centimeters, dark hair, medium build, looks like he slipped, fell through a hole in the boardwalk and hit his head against a metal bench.
We suspect he might have been inebriated when he fell. There were bottles all around him, and traces of vomit on his shirt.
And a kebab.
Any signs of violence?
There might be a sequence killer on the loose. I'm always really nervous because I highlight the stupid ones, so I have to like pull my finger away from the click mouse button. The mouse button in case I do it accidentally. Seems like it was an accident.
No field autopsy necessary.
You can hear her quickly typing in the background.
What about his belongings? Did you examine his clothes?
He was wearing boots. I should have done the library card thing first. He was wearing boots, trousers, an old leather jacket with a bright blue lining. I found a library card from his pockets.
Any information on the library card?
It's from Central Jamrock Public Library. It belongs to someone named Billy Mejen.
Good. You have a lead.
We do.
Do you and Lieutenant Kitsuragi want to take the case, or should I assign it to someone else?
We're taking it.
I have assigned the case to Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi.
Lieutenant.
Please follow up on this library lead to identify the man. We'll send someone to take the body to the morgue. That's all for now. Thank you for reporting in. Is there anything else I can do for you?
Connect me to the library.
Hold on, officer.
Love that noise.
I've got Central Jamrock Public Library on the line, and I've already introduced you to their librarian. Connecting the call in 2, 1.
Yes, this is Central Jamrock Public Library here. How can I help you, officer?
Hello, buddy.
He sounds worried, yet ready to assist. This is how people get when the police call.
Looking for any information you can provide on a Billy Majon? Meji? Majuju? Rita.
Billy Majon, you said.
Majon.
Give me a moment. I'll have to check our database.
Mahjong. He puts down the receiver.
On Moreau Drive in central Jamrock, in a darkened hall lit by orange desk lamps far away from the noise outside, a middle-aged man taps commands into an old radio computer. A printout falls on the desk. Behind him, a lonely reader scours some dusty bookshelves, looking for a paperback.
So, this might sound weird, but I really like Discordance. I think I've talked about that. But in music in particular, like if you listen to Limousine, especially the MS Rebridge, but if you listen to Limousine by Brand New, it builds and builds and builds into this crazy wailing, shouting, and it's discordant, it's breaking up, and it's I really like music that builds up a lot. That's a big thing for me. And I really like music with a lot of oomph and passion in it that feels very emotive. It's why I tend towards rock music and punk music and pop punk and pop rock and all that kind of as a genre, because it tends to go in that direction more than pop does for me, and more than rap does in particular. And Discordance is really good at, I don't know what it is, it's this feeling that the song is so powerful or emotive, and they're putting so much into it that the song itself is breaking apart, you know what I mean? It might sound like nonsense, but one of the best songs I ever heard live was I've seen Muse in, I don't know how long ago now, quite a while ago, probably 10 years ago, a little bit less maybe. Why did I even see Muse in London? Yeah, I've seen Muse in London. And Plug-in Baby starts with a like a proper bit of discordance, and they finished the last song, and they just played like discordant notes for like 3 minutes until eventually it led into Plug-in Baby, and it was brilliant. Yeah.
Yes, hello. Are you still there? I found Billy Mahjon's home address. Is that all right? No phone number, unfortunately.
Well, hopefully he lives here.
They're too poor to have a phone line.
Yes, home address is fine.
Here we go, sir. Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33B, apartment number 20. It's in Martinez, I believe. Cape Side Apartments, it says. That's all.
That's where the smoker on the balcony lives, isn't it?
Any other information?
It says here that they returned their last book just a few days ago, but I wasn't at work that day.
Do you know someone who was?
Marie? Marie? Do you remember a reader named Billy Mahjon? They returned a Tybalt book the other day.
Maurice, what? A woman yells. Then, yes, okay, if it was the police.
Yes, it was my colleague Marie. She said that it was Billy's husband who returned the book. He also asked for this new sci-fi release, Lowe's Radio City 87, but we don't have it yet.
Good. You have a name now.
I mean, I assumed Billy was... I mean, my default assumption was that they were just gay, right? But maybe gay marriage isn't permissible in this world. Billy Mahjon is a woman, not a man. How did your colleague know that it was her husband?
Marie knows Billy. She's been working here longer than me. Sometimes her husband returns some books for her.
And then goes for a little drink later. On the lookout.
Do you know her husband's name?
Sorry, no. Marie only knows him by sight.
Can you describe him for me?
Marie! She said it was an older man, and that she's pretty sure he'd had a drink or two the last time she saw him.
And what was he wearing?
1 second.
The librarian turns away from the phone again and relays the question.
Sorry, Marie wasn't really paying any attention to that.
Alright, thanks.
Happy we could help. Goodbye, officer.
The librarian hangs up and the call gets redirected back to the station with a soft click.
Anything else you need from me?
No.
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a...
Okay, well, we have just added like 25 tasks to our page. Seriously. So we can go do that. Let's go talk to Kuno and have a look at this this basement door, because I'm very curious if there's going to be a way around that for me. I'm also hoping... Oh, what if I want to poke this up a little bit? I want you to not hear my mouse clicks as much as you have been doing, but the mic is kind of pointing towards my mouse still, so you probably still can. Maybe I need to get closer to the mic and then reduce the volume down to adjust for that. That might work. That's probably a good idea, because I've had to turn the gain pretty high, but if I'm closer to the mic, I can turn it back down again. But then again, you'll hear me all breathy. I don't have a pop filter right now, which is a concern for my plosives. Pop filters block your plosives. I do have one coming. Kuno!
Fuck the does Kuno care?
Do I have anything?
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
Do I have anything for empathy? Let's have a little look. Okay, we might as well give it a go, right? Got +1. Bear with me. They really, 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 really needed a better system than this. I know I mentioned that a lot, but I'm fairly staggered that this made it into the game in the way it is.
Fuck does Kuno care?
28%, baby.
What's going on is an ungovernable youth on your crime scene, throwing around incendiary language, trying to push your buttons.
Hey, Kuno, I think you can turn down the Kuno. No, I don't want to do anything I haven't done before.
Ease off.
He'd rather die than work.
Kuno doesn't.
I don't want to click new. I don't want to piss him off more. I don't want to mess something up. You know what I mean? What was I wearing? These. All right, Kuno. Let's talk about locusts.
Kuno care?
The boy turns to you. He doesn't care. You wouldn't happen to know anything about the missing locusts.
No. Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up, see.
He does know.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison!
She sounds like she's about to cry, out of disappointment at Kuno's newfound lameness.
What's this about?
Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present.
There's definitely something going on here. Remember his pig's head shack? You should check it out.
Kuno doesn't fucking care.
He's my favourite character. I hope we can get through to him in the end. I'm going to put points into empathy. We're nearly level. I think we're quite close to leveling up again. Yeah. And next time, empathy. Got to avoid these red checks for the next 3 hours as well. Oh, hello. It's crawling with locusts in here. A magnesium supplement you rub on your chest to live a happy, magnesium-rich life.
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts fill the musky air. The earthen floor of the shack has been shaped into mounds of mud, dotted with little holes for windows.
I don't mind insects, but I don't want to be surrounded by them. You know, that gets to me a little bit.
Like skyscrapers, spires of dirt and sand rising. Accommodations for their insectoid inhabitants.
Well, detective, it appears you've solved the case.
The lieutenant looks around, writes something in his notebook, and turns to you.
Of the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a subcase of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's going well.
Stop being so sarcastic, Kim.
Oh, I'm not being sarcastic at all. We are making real progress here.
When someone says they're not being sarcastic, it's usually a good sign that they're being very sarcastic.
You think the Insulindian phasmid is nearby?
If anything, the presence of the locust points to the opposite. The phasmid did not take the bait from the traps. It was Kuno. The phasmid doesn't exist. But what do I know?
Use your powers of deduction. You knew the magic bug was nowhere near here. The phasmid is impairing your judgment.
I know, I just want to click things.
I'll let you handle the Kuno side of things. You are doing just fine.
Kitsaragi. Just, it's my vice. You know, I've given up the alcohol, I've given up the drugs. I need cryptids, you know? That's what I've got now, that's who I am. Kuno.
Fuck does Kuno care?
I know you took the locusts from the traps the cryptozoologists set up.
Yeah. Kuno took the bugs. So what?
You say you don't give a fuck about bugs and then you go build a whole bug town.
It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't just bug shit. They come out of the sky like a fucking shadow. Shit descends.
Stop!
She wails from behind the fence and buries her face in her hands.
You stop. It's like their fucking night. Locust City, Night City, City of Rage.
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastical city. It's almost too big for his imagination. The girl forces herself to watch again, the corners of her eyes twitching from discomfort. The lameness is causing her physical pain. The damage may be permanent.
City of Rage sounds like a cool place.
Kuno, the pig wants to help you. that's how lame it is. Please just don't say you're...
An artist? Maybe I am an artist. You hear that, everyone? I'm a fucking artist now.
Did he just say I? Kuno usually calls Kuno, Kuno.
Making art is a worthy calling. I'm something of an artist myself. You said I.
Kuno made Kuno. Kuno says whatever the fuck he wants. There are no rules here, pig. I fucking say I when I wanna, and Kuno when I wanna. Kuno's free. Kuno's free to fucking die, bitch.
This is what he sometimes does when things get tense.
Making art is a worthy calling. I'm an artist myself.
Oh my god, Kuno! He's gonna make you totally lame in, like, 3 seconds. Don't let him, Kuno.
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free.
He tears at the buttons off his shirt, trying to rip them open. They don't give way.
Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants. Kuno can make himself into a... Kuno doesn't give a shit.
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno. You'll have to take me away.
A leaden silence fills the yard.
In it, you hear snow melting, dripping from the eaves. Someone closing a window.
Say nothing.
Without a word, she disappears entirely behind the fence. For once, the boy is lost for words. He turns completely red now, with splotches of white beginning to appear across his face. Use this momentary confusion to take control of the situation. You've got him. Now convince him to leave the cryptozoologist's traps alone.
Let's go for it. I need you to stop taking locusts from the traps. The cryptozoologists are trying to find something very important. Those locusts are bait. I have to ask, what does the city of locusts mean?
It don't mean anything. It's shit. Kuno just likes to focus. Kuno likes to concentrate on shit. Build shit when he's zipping hard. Fuck.
He turns his face up to the heavens.
Pig, you really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. Now it's all fucking lame. I don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway. Shit is all lame now. C was right.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence, just long enough to make eye contact with Kuno.
What's going to happen to the locusts?
Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die.
Oh no. I better be off. Bye-bye.
The fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
The Insulindian phasmid.
He recognizes the name.
You know what it is?
Bitches think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck out of here. Kuno's tired of this shit.
There's silence between the two children. They're not saying anything to each other, nor looking in each other's direction.
Alright. Well, this is the greenhouse. That's where I need to... How do I get there? That's where I need to get to. Isn't that the building? Yeah, that is the building. I know that's not very informative, but I know what I mean. Let's go chat to the crypto people to finish things off. Maybe we'll walk around there and prep. He is gone, yeah.
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this.
I had a chat with the kid Kuno. He promised to stop stealing the locusts.
So it was just a child.
He purses his lips, crestfallen.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
She acts chipper, but something's changed in her tone. A hidden worry. Something is secretly gnawing at her confidence. It's not this Kuno kid or the missing locusts. It's something else.
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the traps one more time. And then maybe we can.
Maybe she's worried he'll fall apart if he doesn't have this to work with. He does seem to be dying.
Darling, I told you to take it easy. You're getting sick. Maybe it's time to go home.
You're right, you're right. We can come back next season when it's warmer.
Maybe I can restock the trap for you. Go on.
You can? Fine. It's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
He wants to see this tale through, as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But he cannot let it drag out after this.
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is we're grateful for your help.
Here's a fresh batch of locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery. I'm not talking co-discovery, of course, but...
Wow. Co-discovery. You'd be famous. You'd show them all. This does tingle the pleasure center. This would show them all. We need to get you on that list of discoverers. No question about that.
Okay, got myself some locusts. I could just sell them if I wanted. I don't think the game would stop me. Find the Insulindian phasmid. We first restruck the trap you left empty before. You left empty? I didn't leave any empty. I'm assuming that means the one at the campsite. The trick is to remember which one is the campsite. Okay, so... I've got a skill point. I said I was going to put it in empathy, but I'm realising that I should be careful about that kind of thing because I don't want to put all my points into empathy and then eventually Kuno have plus points anyway. You know, we've been through that several times already. I don't know if I want any more of these either. I don't know which one I would take. Maybe Matzovian Socioeconomics? My communist one. It's about getting money. Indirect modes of taxation. I feel like that's one I should have taken a long time ago. I feel like that is going to be the one that gets me money from those little circle pop-ups, you know? I don't know why, but it just feels like that. Let's do date of birth generator, because it's long, but there's no negatives. Boop. I like taking these. Yeah. Right, so let's move around to where we're going. Which is this way, I believe. I've never actually explored that bottom right bit. Off you pop, lads. Off you pop. I have a little paranoia that this video hasn't worked at all. The mic that I had set up to use, it was like the XLR special effects or something, and that made me a little nervous. Oh, I had to go talk to someone here as well. Oh, there's lots to do in the area. So, well, let's check out this door while we're here. Hear the sound of running water. Someone's washing dishes.
The door has braved the elements for decades. The copper nails holding the upholstery in place have turned green from sea air, and so is the knocker, shaped like a lion's head.
Right.
As you turn to leave, you hear footsteps on the other side. Yes, someone's definitely home.
We should leave and go talk with Vagrant. Tell him what happened, that we couldn't open the door. Maybe there's a workaround.
Yeah, I mean, I still want to knock, but I don't want to do... Like, I feel like I'm going to end up talking to someone. Maybe I don't want to do that at all, actually. I don't know. I'll think about that. We'll decide what we're going to do next time. Yeah, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully you can hear me. And I'll see you lovely folks very, very soon. Cheers much of us always. Bye-bye.